Pat, you want to answer that question about Dr.
Yes, the media has been invited. You let media members hear that.
Okay. Yes, so his hand, and there was another hand.
Stay on track.
Was this gentleman right here in the front? So, I saw this hand here.
No.
Okay, good. Oh, okay.
I'm saying that the community want law enforcement to do their job within the boundaries of the U.S. Constitution. I can't help if the guy is a bad guy. Just do your job within the boundaries of the U.S. Constitution. And I assure you that's all the black community wants. Now, when 96% of your self-reported data says that you are not getting a hit on your searches, that should cause any reasonable person in my mind to say, what are we doing? Also, your self-reported data says that if you're searching black people or white people, you find just as much stuff on white people as you do on black people. So search everybody. But the disproportionate numbers targeting African Americans don't make practical sense based upon what you're getting.
Okay, this gentleman here.
Okay, I don't have to respond to that. The answer is not just search everybody, not unless we're doing a checkpoint or a roadblock or something like that where we do 100%. It's not mandated to us that we can just check everybody. We have to operate on the rules of reasonable suspicion and probable cause. That's the way it's set up, that's the way it's supposed to be, and that's what our officers are trying to do. One thing I have an issue with, another factor that I'm not seeing up here, it's no secret that our department operates off of a focus protocol. We use focus. We collect our data. We have meetings every month. I mean, we keep ourselves updated intentionally on where our problem areas are. We identify those problem areas. Now, here's where I have a problem. We go where the data takes us, where the complaints take us. And say, for instance, on the B Street initiative, our complaints, community complaints, and our data takes us there to work that B Street initiative. It's a predominantly black area, so naturally, we're going to be dealing predominantly with blacks. There's going to be an inordinate number of traffic stops. There's going to be an inordinate number of searches in that black community there. But we're not there because we just simply chose to be. We're there at the call of the community. We're there at our focus data. So when we're driven by our data, we're not looking at black or white, but it takes us into those areas. What would you have us do? Not do our job? That's not an option. We have to do our job. That's what you pay us to do. That's what you expect us to do.
I was thinking, the other day, when we asked a question, that was not the answer. I'm downtown all the time, the office on Hay Street. All of those stops are not happening on B Street. Those numbers do not reflect that. Those traffic stops are happening all over the city of Fayetteville, and we know that. A lot of them are happening on Murchison Road. Yes, that's a black community. However, we're talking about if you're stopping someone and you're doing a search and you're not getting anything, then something is wrong. You ought to have a high percentage of finding contraband, weapons or drugs, while we search. Greater than 3%.
Okay. That's the one. Oh, that study. Well, that study basically. Now, remember, that has to do with felony stops, and there's different studies come out. And they basically say that if X number of felony stops are made, that only 20% turn out to be, correct, or the perpetrators are in those stops. That's one study. How valid it is,
The one question I have regarding that, did it make the other 80% of the stops illegal?
No, it didn't say the other 80%. It didn't. Right. It didn't. It didn't say. Right. answer that question specifically. But I want to go back to, this gentleman hasn't said anything. I want to get his. Let me get a mic for you.
I have one over here.
Okay.
So,
Back here in the back.
right here.
Okay. Go
What
ahead.
I like to state is that the 96% that are being stopped or searched, you've got to look at the numbers of people that said, when the officers said, can I search the vehicle? They said yes. That was a consent. Whether they got something or whether they didn't. That was a consent. How many other races said, no, you can't search my vehicle? That doesn't make what the law enforcement officer did wrong. It just made those 96% that said yes, they didn't get anything. I think what we fail to realize is that we'll have officers out here that are putting their lives on the line every day. The people in the community don't want to see us until they call us. So whenever we come out to those scenes, they're not only, they're saying the real racially profiling, what they're doing is professionally profiling. When we get on the street, they look at the color of our uniform, and they're going to go ahead and stereotype us. Or what you're doing is just, you're on that side of the law. I've been accused of being, hey, sister, I'm not your sister. Okay? I work for the city. My job is to do what's right, to enforce the law. I don't care what color you are. If you break the law, you got to go to jail, point blank. That's the way it goes. And I don't care if you think that because I'm wearing blue, I'm taking up for somebody else that's wearing blue. That's not the case. I work in professional standards, and a lot of people know that I don't mind doing an investigation of one of my partners.
Thank you. I want to get back to this gentleman's comment in just a moment, but I want to see, this gentleman had his hand right here, then we get to this person right there. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just want to take an opportunity to speak about the gentleman that indicated he wanted to do a job with respect to the U.S. Constitution. The interesting thing is, what many people don't realize in the public, is that all police departments are governed not only by rules and regulations, policies and procedures, operating procedures, by their own department, but by the city or county in which they are members of, as well as the same state laws that everybody else is governed by, along with the federal constitution that's inclusive of the U.S. Constitution. So we're mandated by far more than most people within the public with respect on how we do our jobs and how they're to be carried out. On top of that, if that isn't enough, as Tracy's already indicated, that we have our own internal police, so to speak, whether it's internal affairs or occupational standards. So we're governed, or we're guided, and we're watched not only by ourselves but the public as well as everybody else in the community and throughout this nation with how we do our jobs. So I think we know how to do our jobs, and we're watched carefully about how closely we do our jobs.
Yes, I have a comment about that in a moment. There's a comment in the back, and then I want to follow up with his statement. Go ahead.
Yes, my name is Reverend Franklin B. I'm familiar with this area because I live here. I like to comment on the chief for doing a great job and also the police for doing a great job. I see about these traffic stops. The police already know and familiar with people that they need to stop. They already know who they are. I live in an area and the police already know who these people, their names are, who has already broke 13 windows out of my house. I didn't know these people's names. I don't familiarize with the area that much, but I live here. After going to court, people don't show up. And the police tell me we arrest them, which they do. They do their job. But then when they get down there, and I went down there, after 5 break-ins, it was time for me to go down there, and I had to leave my job, lose a lot of money. I get down there, and I asked the judge to let me know when the person comes back. They don't let me know. And the judge was Judge Frank, and the public defender was Cynthia Black. So I had to go down there. I wanted to see what she looked like. I went down there personally. I said, I just want to see who you are. This person has done wrecked my home, threw my mother's pictures in the floor, stomped them. I don't know these people that's been thrown out of the project that moved behind me. I have never said a word to these people. They asked me to put a trespassing warrant out on the person. I put one out on them. At first I didn't, but the next day booked one out of the car. So I said, well, I'm going to put one out on him. So I said, why you haven't arrested this man? He's still walking with this boy, walking around here. He said, well, we ain't got no room in the jail for him, or whatever. I said, okay. He still walk around here looking at me. I don't say a word to these people. They done stole over $5,000 of stuff out of my house. I had to take an early retirement. They make more money than I do when I'm working. On top of that, I went down there and pulled the court record. They had 16 trespassing warrants on them. 16. And they ain't still locked this fella up. So he had to go downtown and pull up over on the fuel station over here, go steal a car and ride around the block and get locked up. But the police are doing their job, and I think they still need to stop whomever they want to. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I want to say thank you very much, sir. I don't think that what the community said that the officers were not doing their job. I think, getting back to what this gentleman was saying, they have questions about the data that was collected and wanted to know what can be done to change or reduce that high percentage number, or what's causing that high percentage number.